So today is the 5-year death anniversary of my father passing away. Man, half a decade went by already. And with today being that, it allows me an opportunity to just reflect and also just share about my own journey from when it happened to the space I'm in now of just peace and acceptance and not really in the painful part of it. So I still remember 5 years ago on this day, it was actually like right around this time too, synchronistically, I had a conversation with my father. And to give quick context, myself, my mother, my father contracted COVID in the beginning of the pandemic, and myself and my mother recovered, but my father, he was having complications, and he went into the hospital actually the day before, day before today, he went to the hospital. And around this time I had a conversation with him. He was telling me how he was feeling better and he was about to go home soon. And that was the last conversation I actually had with him being alive. And then later on, next thing you know, a couple hours later, I felt like my heart drop. Felt like something happened. You know, like that feeling that you feel in your body when something happened. Like, you know, something major just happened. And that's what I felt. And then next thing you know, my phone rang. Then my mother gave me the news of my father passing away. And at first, I didn't accept it. I'm like, no way. No way. I just talked to him a couple hours ago. He told me he was coming home. No way. No way that happened. And then more and more as the process happened, you know, when someone passes away, of talking with a funeral home and things like that, and they talk about the body and stuff like that, the more it came to realization that my father passed away. And this was the beginning of the pandemic too, in which no one was allowed to be in a hospital with the people who had COVID. And so my father passed away with none of us being there. He passed away with the medical team that was there and stuff like that, but we weren't there. That made me feel some type of way. I did feel angry towards that, worked through it. But the most major thing for me of what I did initially in my own grief journey that helped me out tremendously to be in the space I am right now is acceptance. A lot of times people struggle to come to grips that a person passed away. So then you're at war with what is happening in the present moment right now. You're suffering because you're not allowing yourself to fully accept what has happened, was meant to happen. And luckily for me, I've been on my spiritual healing journey before then. Spiritual healing, spiritual awakening, psychedelic work, all the different stuff. So really was bringing the muscles in to prepare myself to be with what is, accept what it is, and feel through what I got to feel through. But not going to lie, this acceptance was probably one of the most toughest acceptance I had to do in life, even more tougher than any other painful experience that I experienced in my life. My father was in my life all my life. And in this moment, I had to come to acceptance. Acceptance that my father physically transitioned on. Accept that it was his time to go because this was his time to go. He died when he died because he was meant to die at this time. This is divine order at play right here. Accepting the fact that physically I'm not going to have my father who's been in my life all my life here. But then also acceptance, realizing that I had a choice, which is something I want to share with you guys as well. We have a choice when this happens, when someone passes away, when we go through our grief journey. We have the choice for how we choose to use it. So for myself, I made the declaration and I chose that I'm going to use this for the deepest spiritual life transformation in my life. And I'm going to do what I got to do to use this in this way and not be a victim to this. Because it's so easy when there's pain present from painful experiences to go into victimhood mentality, right? Being a victim to life and being this victimhood. And I didn't want to be that. I wanted to use my power to use this in the way that I chose to. And that's what I did. And it brought up a lot of pain, a lot of different emotions that I went through anxiousness, depression, anger, sadness, happiness, peace, all these different things that was happening. Even sometimes on my grieving journey, I went through some coping mechanism, whether it was external food stimulants, overeating. I gained the pandemic depression grieving pounds that luckily for the most part I've been shredding since I'm joining the gym again, but I'm still on that journey as well. And the thing about it was all of that was necessary because I held on to a lot of resentment still. A lot of resentment towards my father, my mother, my family, people who I felt done me wrong in previous experiences, towards myself, towards my wife. I had all this resentment still that I was just holding on to. All this regret as well of wishing I would have done things differently when I had the different awareness that I had in those moments, and wish I would have done things differently because of the awareness I have now. So even that regret, all that stuff, for me choosing to use this grief journey with my father to experience the deep spiritual transformation of my life, it allowed me to do some deep work on all of that. It allowed me to let go of all the resentment, all the regret, because the fact I came to this realization that my life is also finite. And just like how my father transitioned when he transitioned, I'm going to transition when I'm going to transition. I came to grips about that. It's something that a lot of us don't really talk about. The fact that we're going to die as well, and we don't know when we're going to die. So then I start asking myself, what makes sense to hold on to any event that I don't know when I'm going to die? What are the things I'm holding on to that I can let go of, and then resentment, regret, because it just wasn't going to matter when I died, but then also it didn't benefit me in my life. So I did the work necessary of letting it go, making peace with it. But more importantly for myself, I took a look at my life. I took a look at my life with finite time, as opposed to living a life as I have all this time in the world to do the things that calls to me, all the time in the world to create the coaching business like I have now, all the time in the world. So then I was sitting in a job that drained my soul. Even I was grateful for the manager and the team I had there, but it still drained my soul. It wasn't fulfilling for me. And I knew my calling at that time was to be a coach, but I was holding myself back as if I had all the time in the world to actually go for it. The death of my father was that catapult, the catapult to push me to go for it. And I'm grateful for that, because now with having a thriving coaching business like I have right now, it would have never happened if I didn't choose to use the death of my father to do some deep, transformative, reflective work on myself. And I'm not more special than any of you guys. We all are capable of using our grief in a powerful, transformative way, and not in a disempowering, victimization way. But it comes to the conscious choice and a commitment to doing so. I chose to do that, and I committed myself to doing that. I got the help necessary, whether it's with therapy, did some psychedelic journeys with my own coach, my own spiritual practices, having support systems around to be able to talk about stuff, my amazing wife who was there for supporting me, support groups and things like that. But it's a conscious choice and an effort of working through it, but also giving myself grace, encouragement, forgiveness when I stumbled in my own grieving journey, when I did those coping mechanisms to try to escape the pain, forgave myself and then allowed myself to feel the pain. But I can honestly say now that I'm in a place of peace with this. I know physically my father's not here, but I look at it from a spiritual perspective now. My dad is everywhere. His essence is everywhere. But more so now, I have a deeper connection with my dad now, spiritually, than I did physically. And I'm grateful for the lessons that I got from my father, because it helped me with my own father and duties that I have with my son, of continuing to be in my son's life even after the relationship with the mother ends. So I'm grateful for it. I'm actually at a place of peace and gratitude to go through that experience, even though it was painful of experiencing the death of my father. But more so importantly, when I made that conscious choice to use it in a way I chose to and got committed to it, it allowed me to use it in that way. And the same for you as well. I don't know if you're going through your own challenges with your grief journey. We have the conscious choice for how we choose to use it. And when we make that conscious choice, now we gotta commit ourselves to having the space necessary to do it. Like using it for a deep transformative experience, using it to actually take a look at your life honestly, accepting the fact that you inevitably will die whenever you die too. So you have time now to actually start living. You have time now to actually stop holding back for waiting for a perfect time, or waiting for later on to enjoy life, or waiting for later on to go for the things you want. Go for it now. Enjoy life now. Let go of resentment now. Let go of regret right now. Make peace with that now, and use that grief as a powerful, transformative teacher that it can be. I love you infinitely. And if this is something you're struggling with and you would love some support around this as well, you can actually send me a message directly. Send me an email as well. And I can support you with that if you're looking for support around that. And thank you so much for listening. I love you infinitely. Stay connected.